Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We have talked a lot about artificial intelligence, the models, the data, the dizzying speed of progress, but today we need to talk about the one resource that is becoming scarcer and more valuable than all the computer chips and data centers in the world: elite human talent. The race to build artificial intelligence, a technology that is going to generate trillions of dollars in value, has ignited a hidden war. This is not your typical corporate recruiting drive. It is a strategic battle for intellectual supremacy, fought over a tiny group of researchers and engineers who can actually build the next generation of artificial intelligence. The biggest roadblock to artificial intelligence progress right now is not just a lack of computing power, it is the severe shortage of these brilliant minds. And this bottleneck has created a shadow economy where a few thousand elite researchers are at one end, commanding multi-million dollar salaries, while at the other end, the value of traditional software engineering jobs is starting to crumble, threatened by the very tools the elite are creating. Today, we are going inside the great AI talent war. We will deconstruct the insane eight-figure salaries, expose the corporate strategies being used to hoard talent, and reveal how this conflict is hollowing out our universities, even shaping the geopolitical battle between the US and China. This is not just a story about recruiting, it is about the consolidation of power and the future of innovation itself. So, who exactly are the soldiers in this talent war? We're not talking about an army of coders. The fight is over a very specific and rare type of technologist. The real prize is the top tier talent, which you can think of as the researchers who get their work accepted at hyper selective academic conferences like Newer IPS. This group represents maybe the top 20% of artificial intelligence researchers globally. And within that group, there is an even more elite tier, the 2%, whose work is considered so important it gets selected for oral presentations. Okay. Right. And these are the people with PhDs from places like Stanford or MIT, with a history of publishing groundbreaking papers and working in the legendary labs that started this whole revolution, like Google Brain or OpenAI. It is this tiny handful of people who possess the specialized knowledge to make fundamental breakthroughs in artificial intelligence, and their scarcity is what is driving the insane market we're about to break down. The money involved in this war has reached levels you normally only see for quarterbacks or CEOs. The most sought after researchers are getting multi year packages that can hit a staggering $250 million. These are not just salaries, they are wealth creation events designed to lock down an intellectual asset who can generate billions of value. So let's look at the numbers. At OpenAI, a senior research scientist can expect a total compensation package of around $1.8 million with a $400,000 base salary and another $1.4 million a year in equity like instruments. The median package at the firm is over $1.5 million. At Google, a top tier research scientist can pull in close to $1 million. The competition is so fierce, companies are resorting to direct poaching with unbelievable incentives. Meta has reportedly tried to lure researchers from OpenAI with signing bonuses as high as $100 million just to keep a single key person from working for a rival. But it is not just the amount of money, it is the type of money. Public companies like Google use traditional restricted stock units that are called RSUs, but OpenAI, with its weird cap profit corporate structure, invented something new: profit participation units that are now going as PPUs. These give employees a share in the company's future profits up to a certain limit, which lets OpenAI offer life-changing money to compete with the big tech giants, all without having to deal with the pressures of being a publicly traded company. This is a key weapon in their arsenal to attract and keep the best minds in the world. This creates a massive chasm in the tech world. While the elite are earning millions, the median base salary of a typical artificial intelligence engineer in the US is around $134,000. This is clear evidence of that barbell economy we talked about, where a huge premium is placed on the top 1% who can create new models, while the market for everyone else is much smaller. These extreme salaries act as a strategic moat. By setting a price for talent that only a few deeply funded companies can afford, they are creating a talent oligopoly. This effectively starves the rest of the ecosystem, startups, other industries of the human capital they need to compete. And it's more than a talent war, it's a consolidation of the means of intellectual production. And it is about to send shockwaves for far beyond Silicon Valley. When an individual artificial intelligence researcher can earn more than the C suite of a Fortune 500 company, it breaks the traditional corporate hierarchy. As artificial intelligence moves into finance and manufacturing, Those industries will have to adopt a superstar model where elite tech talent can out earn senior executives, which is going to create a massive culture of friction inside the modern corporation. This corporate gold rush has triggered a mass exodus from our executives, from our universities, what many are calling a brain drain. Industry now completely dominates artificial intelligence research. Back in 2010, academia produced most of the significant artificial intelligence models. By 2021, industry's share of producing these models surged to 96%. The career path for experts has totally flipped. Today, about 70% of new artificial intelligence PhDs go straight into the private sector, a complete reversal from 2 decades ago when only 20% did. And it's not just the graduates either. Senior professors are leaving too. One study found that 131 artificial intelligence professors left their university jobs for industry over a 14-year period. This has a real negative impact. Universities affected by this brain drain produce fewer artificial intelligence startups, and the ones they do produce raise less money. The long-term consequences is that the entire global research agenda is shifting away from open-ended public interest questions toward commercially viable problems that serve corporate interests. We are seeing the emergence of a two-tiered system of global knowledge, where public, peer-reviewed research focuses on small improvements to industry-led models, while the truly foundational work becomes a closely guarded corporate secret. The public comments of scientific knowledge is shrinking. And while the pull of industry cash is strong, universities are also pushing talent away. A report from CSET at Georgetown suggests that universities have systematically failed to create enough new faculty positions to meet the explosion in student demand for artificial intelligence education. This underinvestment makes academic careers less attractive and speeds up the exodus. As the university system struggles, a new market is emerging for elite, for-profit artificial intelligence training programs and boot camps, often led by former industry researchers themselves. The most critical danger here is a threat to the future talent pipeline itself. By hiring away the world's best artificial intelligence educators, corporations are basically eating their own lunch. They are depleting the very source of the talent they desperately need. This problem is made worse by the fact that over-reliance on artificial intelligence tools can actually weaken critical thinking skills, a phenomenon called metacognitive laziness. The departure of professors who teach foundational knowledge makes the next generation of students more vulnerable to this risk, which could degrade the talent pool over the long run. The main battlegrounds for this academic poaching are the powerhouse universities, Stanford, Carnegie Mellon, and MIT. They are the primary hunting grounds for corporate recruiters. To survive, these institutions have entered into complex partnerships with the very companies poaching their talent, like the DAF MIT AI Accelerator or the BNY AI Lab at Carnegie Mellon. These deals bring in money, but they also blur the lines and accelerate the flow of talent and research priorities towards the private sector. In this war, corporations have had to invent new weapons. The primary one is the acquihire, where a company is bought not for its product or revenue, but just to get its team. Valuations in these deals are often priced per head, with each engineer costing millions. But recently, the acquihire has evolved into a clever way to get around antitrust regulators. Instead of a formal merger, a tech giant will structure the deal as a technology licensing agreement plus a mass hiring event. They get the team and neutralize the competitor, but try to avoid the intense scrutiny a real acquisition would trigger. It's a form of regulatory arbitrage. And we have seen this playbook being used over and over. In 2024, Microsoft paid a reported $650 million not to buy the startup Inflection AI, but to license its tech and hire most of its staff, including its CEO, Mustafa Suleyman. It was a talent acquisition that achieved the same result as a merger, and it is now under investigation by regulators in the United States and United Kingdom. Google did something similar with the startup Windsurf, signing a $2.4 billion licensing deal and hiring its key team members after a formal acquisition by OpenAI was blocked over antitrust concerns. And in a pure talent grab, the AI safety startup Anthropic hired most of the engineering team from a United Kingdom startup called Human Loop without even buying their technology or assets. The team was the only prize. The profitability of the strategy has even created the reverse acquihire, where startups are founded with the explicit goal of being acquihired. They focus on assembling a team with perfect pedigrees to make themselves an irresistible target for a tech giant. Venture capital is not essentially creating and funding talent portfolios turning human capital into a tradable speculative asset. It is a game of high stakes human capital arbitrage. But this war is not just about money. It is also a battle of ideas. The best example is the creation of Anthropic. In 2021, a group of 11 senior employees led by Open Artificial Intelligence VP of Research left to form their own company because of directional differences over AI safety and commercial pressures. This schism instantly created a major new comparator, proving that talent, when organized by a shared vision, is a powerful strategic asset. The most intense theater of the global talent war is being fought between the United States and China. China has become a research powerhouse, now producing as much artificial intelligence research as the United States, United Kingdom, and the European Union combined, and its publications get over 40% of global citations. But when you narrow the focus of the absolute most elite talent, the United States is still the number one destination, employing 57% of the world's top 2% of artificial intelligence AI researchers. But this dominance is fragile. China is by far the largest source of this talent, with Chinese educated researchers making up 47% of that top global pool. China has achieved this through a deliberate state-driven strategy, including the controversial Thousand Talents program, which offers massive incentives to lure top scientists back to China. These programs have drawn scrutiny from the FBI, which warns they are often used to illegally transfer sensitive technology and intellectual property. Meanwhile, the United States' advantage has been built on its ability to attract the world's best and brightest. Its world-class universities are a global magnet, but this advantage is being destroyed by America's own restrictive and unpredictable immigration system. This has become the nation's Achilles heel. More than half of the artificial intelligence workforce in the US is foreign-born. Yet these experts face insurance bureaucratic hurdles to stay in the country after they graduate. The H-1B visa for skilled workers is a lottery, and green card wait times can last for decades. A recent policy proposal even floated the idea of a $100,000 fee on a new H-1B visas, which has, from what I'm hearing, has been approved, which would cripple startups. Our competitors are capitalizing on our mistakes. China's new K visa eliminates the need for employer sponsorship, a direct move to attract global talent frustrated with the United States system. This geopolitical battle is forcing the world into two distinct and incompatible AI stacks, forcing a new kind of technological and ideological alignment reminiscent of the Cold War. So, what is the end game here? The strongest argument for concentrating all this talent in a few giant companies is one of necessity. The quest for AGI requires computational resources on an almost unimaginable scale. One top researcher argued that evolving the next problems in artificial intelligence will require $2 billion clusters of computing power. From this view, only companies like Google, Microsoft, and Amazon have the resources to make real breakthroughs, and putting the best talent there is the fastest way to innovate. In this view, concentration is not a market failure, it is an innovation engine. But there is a powerful argument against this. History shows that dominant firms often have an incentive to suppress disruptive technologies that threaten their existing business models. This is called captured innovation. The concentration of talent and resources creates an AI oligopoly that can stifle the broader ecosystem by killing competition and limiting the diversity of ideas. This is not just an economic debate, it's also a philosophical war for the soul of artificial intelligence, personified by the godfathers of artificial intelligence themselves. Yan Lucan at Meta represents the pro-concentration view, while Jeffrey Hinton and Joshua Bengio have become vocal critics warning about the existential risk when this power is in the hands of a few companies that prioritize profit over safety. This concentration has also a profound global dimension, creating an artificial intelligence divide between the global north and the global south. Countries in the developing world lack the resources to build their own models, leaving them dependent on technology developed for different cultures and economies, which only widens the gap in economic productivity and technological sovereignty. And this brings us to the oh shit moment. Because this is not just an academic debate about the future, it is creating a bifurcated economy right now. A small number of reinventor companies that can afford the talent are seeing massive productivity gains and pulling away from everyone else. Meanwhile, the majority of businesses are struggling, which threatens to depress overall GDP growth and lead to secular stagnation for the rest of the economy. And while this is happening, the smartest money is not just investing in the winners. It is actively exploiting the frictions of the system itself. Sure, there are the conventional plays like buying stock in the picks and shovels, companies like Nvidia and the big cloud providers who supply the infrastructure for this war, but the more aggressive strategies reveal the true nature of the game. Venture capital firms are now running a strategy called the reverse acquihire incubator. They proactively assemble elite teams with the sole objective of being acquired within 18 to 24 months. The team is the product. It is human capital arbitrage in its purest form. Hedge funds are developing strategies to short the laggards, actively betting against public companies that they identify as being too slow to adapt to AI, planning to profit from their decline. But here is the most cynical play of all: immigration policy ventures. This is a business model designed to profit from the broken US immigration system that is crippling our biggest advantage. One arm of the firm is a high-end legal practice, charging massive fees to companies and individuals to navigate the complex visa process. The other arm is a lobbying firm, which uses a portion of those profits to advocate for changes to immigration law that would directly benefit its own clients. Think about that. It is a self-reinforcing cycle where a firm profits from the very problem it is also being paid to architect a solution for, but only for a select wealthy clientele. Ultimately, the talent war is a proxy for a bigger question. Is artificial intelligence a tool for maximizing corporate profit? Or is it a public good that should benefit all of humanity? The structure of this talent market is already answering that question for us. It's the first one. The spoils of this war will not go to those who just participate, but to those who understand and exploit its complex, multi-layered dynamics. The race for intellectual supremacy has just begun, and its outcome will define the technological and economic landscape for decades to come.